Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. That's a throwing knife. This is more Artorias fights. This is a laggy one, bloody hell. So this guy's spamming parry on a laggy connection using the Quelaag Fury Sword. So I do punish him with a backstab when he stops playing fucking Nightcrawler. Try and get the kick to the wake up. That should have been a backstab. It looked pretty good on his end. A lot of people do that, I've noticed these days. Because of how the lag on Dark Souls works, where it's always present, didn't want to do that, by the way. Game's just weird sometimes. Wanted to start charging the R2, but it registered as a jump attack. But the amount of people that I've gone to do kick on the wake up, and because of latency, it's not even affected them, and they've just circled around me and stabbed me in the back is a little high. So right now, instead of letting these two people fight, I want to fight the Black Knight. And I make a mistake here, so I want to apologise to this guy. And I've already apologised, I sent him a message, but for some reason he's either got like dementia or a really bad memory, because he says, I don't know what you're on about, we didn't even fight. Yet, you're watching our fight right now. This is our fight. So watch, I stab him, I think I've killed him, I walk away, and I heal. And because I don't have volume on, I didn't hear him get up or anything, and I'm like, oh my god, really? Really? And I've got no emote to tell him I'm ashamed of myself. So instead, you know, it's just, it is what it is. I was super pissed off at that moment. But what can you do? It does happen. So we start our fight again. He gets 2 rounds at least, and he does a lot better on this round too. He's now using the Black Knight Greatsword. The only problem is, he's running really close to do his attack, so I'm outspeeding him on some of them. But he's doing the running attack, clip him there in his wake up, wait for him to roll, watch what he does. Doing another running attack, he pulls the shield out, goes for the backstab, gets it too. That was really fast. One of those interesting laggy moments. Goes for a wake up but doesn't really understand how they work. And then stun lock to victory. So once again, I'd like to apologise to that guy. Did not mean to use the Divine. It wasn't my intention to heal mid-fight. It just happened that way. Oh, so embarrassing. But luckily enough, it doesn't happen again. It was just that one issue. And I sent him a message, like I said, and he denied even knowing we fought. So, not too sure what's going on there. Only thing I could think of is maybe this guy's name was on the screen when he came in. So all he could see was this guy's name and didn't read mine. But we've got another guy in elite armor. Elite Knight armor, sorry, using Boulder, Side Sword, and a Gress Crash Shield. He's being evasive. He's doing a lot of pokes, and why not? You see the damage. He does a lot of damage. I think he was going for either a backstab there or a running attack. Catch him in the stun lock, get a lot of hits there. He pulls out the scythe, which is a really interesting choice, but if you've got a scythe, why would you not use it earlier? Like, I mean, look at it. I love the scythe. It's a serious damage dealer. And I'm waiting for the running attack, but he moves to his other weapon for some reason. Don't understand that. If he'd have stuck with the scythe, he might have had the range to eke the victory there, but he decided against it, and it did cost him. Here is your resident Dark Moonblade Katana guy. Every burg has one, and he doesn't understand the higher thresholds of poise. And that is really strange, because if you're going to use a big weapon like the one this person is using, oh sorry, a buffed weapon I meant to say, not big weapon, and your strategy is to do this, try and backstab / just mash R1, you might want to try and get a little bit more poise, because he's using a wolf ring and the wolf ring isn't enough, not against greatswords. But I return the favour. It's a nice gesture of goodwill when you get stabbed in the back. That right then could have been a backstab. Pulls out the wog. That, just don't even know what happened then, but he died. It's a different fight. But there's so many builds like that in every area of Dark Souls, so there's nothing new there that you've not seen before. You know, buffed katana with the Wrath of God. It's one of the most common builds you'll come across. Good practice if you've not fought them before. This is just weird. Like, everything I can do wrong in a fight, I just did then. So watch that very closely and never do it ever again. Never repeat my mistakes. Just really weird sequence of moves. So now I've got really low life. This is the same guy with the scythe, by the way, so unfortunately he probably should have won that right there. He was doing everything right, and I was doing everything wrong. This is another buffer. This might be the same person I just beat, actually. And this time he's doing, I think that's Tranquil Walk of Peace. So, this is what Artorias does to Tranquil Walk of Peace. It's like, come on, dude. If you're going to just go straight for my back, at least keep your shield up. Bloody hell. That's like rule 1. And I think he gets a backstab. On me. Yeah, it's here. It's got to be here. There we go. You know, it's always going to happen. Swinging these big swords, when somebody's circling like this guy's circling, like, it's all that's going to happen. Goes for a parry, but I'm already behind him, so it's going to daggle him every time. And then there's this fellow. So this is an avid PvPer, I would say. Don't know how new he is. His setup makes me think that he's either experienced and stuck in his ways, or he's new and he's using one of the most popular paradigms. I don't know if you've noticed, but he just tanked my great sword in 2 hands because he's got 2 pieces of Avalon. So if this was before the patch, this would have been common, but this isn't so common anymore. And I was actually quite stunned coming across somebody who could take the sword because I wasn't used to it. And then this idiot turns up, which always fucking happens. But suffice to say, he's a good player, using a claymore, using quite high poise, and just playing intelligently, nothing fancy. You know, he didn't lure with his bow or anything, just used it to use some distance. And we have some good fights. And it was one of those moments where I really saw the difference in our builds. You know, my lower poise, the space of quality between the claymore and the sword of Artorias. You know, it becomes really apparent in these encounters. And at the time, it was one of those moments where there was a couple of things I could have done, which I was trying to do, and if they would have landed, it might have been different fights. But we will soon see how this one goes. So, this is round 2. He times my spin attack. I only get a measly 280 damage on him. He takes at least, what, 1/4 of my life. And one of the things that makes me wonder if this guy is pretty new is because I asked him if he was using a quality build, and he didn't know what quality meant. But he's also got a rapier on his side, so he goes for a quick parry there and a little poke, goes for another parry. You know, he fights like somebody who's had experience, but, you know, not necessarily of some of the higher echelon, shall we say, of PvP. And he ties me up really well, just destroys me. Fights well with the weapon he's using. You know, I can't fault it. It was a really fun fight, and he showed this build-up. He really did. This guy's the guy that interrupted the last fight. He's a moron. Doesn't know how to play. Just, what's the point, dude? It's just a waste of time. Stands up there with his back to me so he can pretend to turn around and attack like it's some kind of surprise. Like, come on, dude. You don't even have 45 dex to cast it fast enough. This is Mr. Twop, who's back again. This time he's put a katana on. Because I think he might have always had the katana on. I'll take that back. So, he's trying to parry me now, you see. It's one of those things where he's noticed that I can stun lock him. He's noticed I'm swinging a lot. So his first response is, oh, I'll parry him. And it's always confusing to see people who use buffs and then play passive. Like, if you're going to buff your weapon, you don't have that much time. You might as well make the most of it. You might get parried, because it's one of the things that happens. Poise parries are easy to do, and if you're dumb enough to just run straight up to them and keep swinging, it's going to happen. Which is why you alternate as best you can. But this is an Artorias with a scythe and a boulder shield. First thing he does is the run up and parry technique. Not the best idea. First thing I do is a roll backstab. 750 damage, which you can't really chalk it, and I have to divert my R2 because the outclaw guy's coming again. I think he's putting his red sign down, so Artorias does a couple of parry attempts, goes for what looks like a backstab, gets kicked, another parry attempt, gets hit twice, and I tried to taunt, but I'm stood on a message, which is something I would really like to see removed in Dark Souls 2. Along with the Allfather Lloyd's upgrade path, which is something I would love to see. But that's something that'll never make it into the game because it's too nice. I just think your sword could have that blue effect that comes off the Lloyd's talismans. It would look really cool. But this is the guy who buffs, and this is the outclaw guy, so let's see what they do. So you've got your buff user doing some rolls, gets a quick hit in there. You get a claymore combo, which catches him with the R2. Does a big two-handed swing into a combo. They both trade a bit of damage, and claymore beats the inferior player, we should say. So now it's our time to fight. So we pop a grass. He's trying to pop a grass, but I think he's already got one. Maybe a wrong button or something. And here we go. Round 2. So he runs in with a running attack. Flips immediately out there. Hit him with a quick poison dagger. Go for the parry, expecting a second hit. He loves doing the combo. I go for the R2, and he pokes me to interrupt it. I thought that would be a backstab. It wasn't. Look at him. Tanks it and boom. Tanks it in the stun animation. Still backstabs me. That is quite lucky, but still, you know, he managed to do it, so that just goes to show how close his attack was to when he got stunned, because he was pressing the button and thus it registered. But I take a big hit, you know, go from having the advantage to immediately being close, if not on the lower end of the life scale. Do a reverse roll, try to do a quick hit on him. I got too much distance though for the backstab, and then fuck off. Massive phantom range, and then right here just trades with me with the rapier and finishes me off. A really good fight, really well played. And then this is the second, this is the best invasion of this session, of this video. Just your standard poise tank katana guy, and it works so well. God, I love this guy, so good. You know. And if you're wondering what happened, I was running to go to the forest, and I always get caught before the bonfire. And usually I'll quit because I'm not looking to fight. But this time I stood here, waited to see what came, and it was this gift, this amazing gift from God. And it, oh, just such a good fight. This guy is my hero. Like, there goes the soul mass, there goes the roll, still gets hit by the soul mass. What a guy. I love it. With all the funny and silly clips that happened to me in Dark Souls, I should really put together a montage of just the most retarded moments of silliness. But this is somebody who's got 2 katanas, a wolf ring, and a buddy. And you know my first response to this situation? If you're running around with 2 katanas, why the fuck do you need a buddy? Really? Darkwood Grain Ring and flipping around, and now you're on your own, and now you're running away. Oh, out comes the pyromancy. There is a poise parry through a poise backstab through the pyromancy, and that is light work of 2 corpers. So we've got another couple of dudes getting through Anolondo, and then they make the distinction to actively come hunt me with pursuers, which is a foolish one, but a fun one nonetheless. And if you listen, I've not played Dark Souls with sound for so long that I didn't realise you can hear the Titanite prowling demon guy everywhere in Anolondo. He's like emphysema or something. He's got full-on really heavy breathing. And it isn't just once or when you're close to him. You can hear it now. Like, the dude, really, really heavy breather. He'd get some serious money if he invested in a telephone. He could start up his own business. But this is one of the things that I always find hilarious about gank situations. And there's going to be someone in the comments that say, oh, these aren't gankers, they're just friends. It's like, well, it don't mean fucking shit, does it? Because they're both trying to kill me. That's gank. End of. But when there's 2 of you, and you're not even running into somebody, you're still just waiting for them to come to you. Like, I don't get that. Like, yeah, that corridor makes your advantage less. It means that I have equal footing as you. And then they refuse to fight in that situation. So I've just pulled them in here with my big brother. And then I get a quick backstab on this guy because he's trying to backstab me with a damn pyromancy glove, or flame, or whatever you want to call it. And then, like, no poise. No poise. Just, instead of summoning your buddy and killing bosses and enemies that you can't handle on your own, why don't you learn how the game works? It's just so dumb. Like, yeah, just throw pyromancy at everything. That fixes it, doesn't it? Just a million pyromancers. And it's amazing because these are the kind of people that when you beat them, they send you messages and they call you names. And they're like, oh, I'm just trying to play, I'm just trying to do this, and you're doing that. It's like, well, it wouldn't happen, would it, if you were better? That's the funny part. Like, they expect me to come to them when there's 2 of them, yet when I'm stood in here with my friend, they won't come. It works both ways, guys. You can't have this advantage without getting it forced back on you. which if you want to be a clever ganker, you come in here and you kill this guy. But judging by how these two people fight, I don't think they know how to kill these demons. And, you know, 10 to 1, they probably never do. Because they're too intimidating and they do too much damage, so they notice that they're about to die and then they just run away. And that is 90% of the problem with all the people who play Dark Souls. Is the fact that they're not willing to accept its terms. And the other 10%, I mean, don't get me wrong here, guys, you might be thinking that statistic's bullshit, but when you think about it, 6% of players beat Mass Effect 3 on the hardest difficulty. And that's probably a lot of people, but compared to the 20 or 30 or 100 million who bought it, that's not a large percentage. So, same with Dark Souls. The niche people who watch the streams, who, you know, watch on YouTube, who play and have done, you know, 20 builds, played through the game 30, 40 times, you know, invested hundreds of hours, you are the niche, you're the minority. And even then, you're still a very small number, and there's a lot of you. We're a very vocal bunch. As the host comes in and drops a Fire Tempest, and I'm trying to kill the Phantom, because all I want to do is fight this guy. I mean, look, Lightning Katana. You really couldn't have a more baby setup. And I just don't understand it. Like, I hope for this person's sake, because I'm putting forward a lot of observations here and judgments that might be completely wrong, might be completely false. This might be this guy's first time through the game. You know, this might be what he thinks is good, or what the walkthroughs told him to use, because a lot of the outdated walkthroughs, lightning's the best enchantment path, you want to get lightning in Ain Orlando. Like, come on, guys. That were years ago, it's not even good anymore. But I'm hoping that was his first time and he's just playing with his friend. But you kind of know that for the most it's not. Because that's how Dark Souls works. You give people the benefit of the doubt, and then they hornet stab you in a bow.